All right, get some questions about these different custom builds and how to do them. So I'm going to kind of show you what I've done in some different ones here. This is a really short version of the Anstoy um, AK47, the large, the full-size one. And I'm going to show you what I did and why I did it. So I have access to a lot of broken gel blaster parts. And so when things come to me broken, I try to figure out ways to repurpose those. So this had come to me, like this, and this piece was broken here. So there was the stock receiver wasn't going to fit nicely, right? So first thing I did is just using a hand hacksaw. I found as easy as I cut that piece off flush. So that's how you see that that's flush there now, right? And then in the past, I've cut to here before because you can still make this piece work. You still have this area right here, so you can go ahead and have that on there like that, and it still would work. Or you can modify these, but anyway, you'd still have that connection point. Well, I wanted to make this even shorter, so I cut back here. And so I cut it straight down here, again, using a hand hacksaw. Then I do a lot of different sanding. And um, but then I was stuck with an open piece of plastic, or there was, a hole essentially right here. So what I did for this area is I reinforced it with a piece of aluminum because it's bendable, it's easy to fit in there, and glue. And then my son has, from like 5 years ago or something, when he was 10, he had a 3D pen, okay, which he hardly ever used for anything. But the 3D pen uses essentially the same filament that a 3D printer does. So I used that 3D pen to put a bunch of plastic essentially over the front here where that piece of aluminum would have shown, and then let it all, harden, and then sanded that down and painted it. So that's how I was able to do that. So that'll look really nice there. Now, since I don't have the stock for the battery, I wanted to use the plug-in port and then relocate a battery to like a top rail, okay? So what I'm gonna do there is you can see that this still has the wires for that stock. So these I'll actually just cut and splice together, right? Just to get these connection points off, okay? So those will just get cut, spliced together, pushed underneath here. And then I'm gonna relocate the port up to here so that when this is on here, it's going to stick right through there. So I've already measured it out. It's actually going to turn out just fine there. And so to do that, if you're going to drill any holes in any of these, you should always tape them off. You can start a pilot hole with a small drill bit, but then step bits by far work the best for drilling in plastic. You're much less likely to crack anything. So that's what I highly recommend, using a step bit of some sort. I get asked a lot about paint too. So this, because it's solid white, it seems to take paint decent no matter what type of paint you use. So you can use like these type of paints, which are made for plastics, right? You can use this is kind of standard spray paint, right? And then you could use enamel spray paint as well. In this case, I did enamel because I got a great deal on this cherry red color. So you're going to see some cherry red blasters. And I got a great deal on this enamel, which is just a flat black spray paint, um, intended for camo. But since it was such a good deal, I've been using this kind of as a primer, because on the other blasters where they have the graphics, some of the different handgun blasters, it seems to work best now if you spray them off like with an enamel. Make sure you let it sit really good and dry, and then you can use other enamels on top of that, no problem. Sometimes you can use a traditional paint on top of it as well. But the enamels definitely work best for anything with the graphics on them. You just got to make sure you give dry time in between coats or color changes, that kind of thing. All right, so that's about it so far. I printed a little barrel that's going to go in here. So that's just this plastic barrel will get cut, and this actually can slide right over it. So the plastic barrel is still going to come out inside here like that, and then it'll be on there. So should look nice. I'm going to keep the same blue grips because then you can use the blue magazine or you can use the black drum magazine. So that is the setup for this build. This is just my mini red AK-47.